Welcome back. Where am I? Who are you? If you just wait a moment, your memories will... What's going on? Where's my daughter? I don't have a daughter. What's going on? There you are. Welcome back, Jeremy. How was your session? My session? Oh, right. The therapy thing. I was in a simulation. That wasn't... Correct. The life you just experienced was not your own. I hope you found it illuminating. I don't really... Why do you look like me? That's how it works for this first session. In the future, you can change your avatar if you wish. Okay. Now, tell me, how do you feel about the robbery? I don't even know. I barely know who I am. That'll fade in time. For now, there were two different sets of memories competing for space, but soon you should find that it all just feels like a dream. No, but like... it felt so real. Like, I could swear I lived that whole life. Well, you did, in a way, but that will pass. By tomorrow, it'll be like a distant memory. You'll remember the main gist and the feelings, but you'll mostly remember this session. Hold on to that. The hope is that we can focus this session on the productive aspects of the simulation so that that can carry through into your real life. Like in a dream, the things you experience in a simulation can affect your outlook moving forward. How do you feel? Weird, and sad, and guilty, and... Man, I'm just lost. I know for a fact that I hated that person before I went into that simulation. What he did was stupid and awful. But I also know that when I was him, everything I did made sense at the time. It's just bizarre to have felt so strongly about something and then just feel the complete opposite. Perspective will do that, as will bias. Well, yeah, and I guess I knew on some intellectual level that nobody sees themselves as a bad guy, you know, but I figured they know they're tricking themselves to some degree. Like, they have to know. But I didn't. It's hard to put into words. I felt like I was the one making that decision, and I truly felt like it was the right one. But obviously it wasn't it? Well, no, because it was a crime. I stole. I took things that didn't belong to me. I harmed another person. I harmed me. Are you sure you're not giving too much deference to your own perspective? Which me are you talking about here? The pronouns are confusing. Of course. I'm referring to the real you, the one who was robbed. Oh. Like, isn't that the correct perspective to take? Like, he's still a criminal. I still didn't deserve what he did to me. Of course, I'm not saying you did. But who's to say your comfort supersedes that of the thief? You said so in your intake interview. Your insurance covered your losses. So one desperate soul got a few items they needed desperately, and you effectively lost nothing. Oh, come on, that's not totally true. I lost time dealing with it. I lost a sense of safety in my home. I lost goodwill to my fellow man. And this desperate soul was just some guy who needed drug money. Like, yeah, he felt like he was doing the right thing. He thought he was helping his kid. But if he just stopped the drugs, he could feed his kid honestly without having to rob people. Why didn't you stop doing drugs while you lived his life? Well, I mean, it's not that simple, but people can quit drugs. It can be done. But you didn't do it. You acted just like he did. Why do you expect him to change when you, the victim of his desperation, couldn't change yourself? Well, I didn't know I was the victim at the time. So you're in the exact same position as him. Why do you expect him to act better? If you don't expect better of people, they won't change. they also can't change without the right support. Browbeating them won't make them change, it just makes them spiteful. You remember how that felt? Thinking that they were judging you unjustly, that they just didn't understand, that they weren't privy to the information that makes your decision the right decision? Jesus, how do you know so much? Did you watch the whole Sin? I lived it too. It's part of my job. Whoa. Like you experienced the whole life, just like I did. Yes. And you do this with every patient? Yes. Oh, you must have experienced some rough stuff. Yes, but it's what it was designed for. Right. I keep forgetting you're not actually human. That's good. That too was part of my design. But we're getting distracted. We were talking about quitting drugs. That's right. If he didn't do drugs, he wouldn't have to steal to make money for food. But quitting is hard. Bad habits are hard to break, especially ones involving chemical dependencies. You remember why he started doing drugs in the first place, right? Sure, but he was a kid then. It wasn't his fault, but at a certain point, you need to take responsibility for your actions. Yeah, I know I didn't take responsibility in the sim, but what's your point? What, nobody's in control of anything? There is no free will, everything's meaningless? A world without free will isn't necessarily without meaning. So you really don't think there's free will? Was it your will to commit the crime? Well, yes. Do you really believe that? I mean, I did it, so clearly I wanted to do it. But was that your will? You're sitting here now, are you glad you did it? Of course not, but I'm a different person now. I only did it because of the things going on in his life. I wouldn't have done it if he hadn't gotten addicted to drugs. And did he choose to get addicted to drugs? Yes! Did you choose to get addicted to drugs in the simulation? But it's different. I was just thrown into his life. He was just as thrown into his life as you were. I'll remind you that the simulation begins at birth, and you made all the same decisions. Every last one. Had your consciousness been born in his body, you would have made all the same decisions, lived the same life. But that's different. In real life, I could have changed it, but in the simulation, you made me do all the same things. Did it feel like we made you? Well, no. I did feel like I was making the decision. But I only did it in... It's just... Okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe we don't have complete control. Maybe he wouldn't have done it if he wasn't addicted to drugs, and maybe getting addicted to drugs wasn't totally, quote-unquote, his fault. But what do you want me to do with that information? Well, let me ask you this. If it was an accident, would you be judging him as harshly? How would you rob someone by accident? You're right, this isn't the best place for this analogy, but bear with me. Imagine you were assaulted rather than robbed. If you found out that this person did it completely by accident rather than on purpose, would it change your feelings? Well, duh. But in reality, it wasn't an accident. And even if it was an assault, there's a difference between an accident and an intentional action, even if it wasn't totally intentional. Like, if you're the type to go around assaulting people, you gotta be locked up. Of course. And if you recall, he has been locked up. This isn't about him. This is about you. Me? You. You came here because your hatred for this person was interfering with your life, did you not? I mean, I guess. So it stands to reason that having less hate for this person will improve your well-being, correct? Sure. Well, does your new understanding change how you feel about this person? Well, of course, you can't live someone's life without getting some sympathy for them. But, like, if anything, the sympathy is the wrong feeling. I'm just being biased. Why? Because he's a criminal. He committed crimes, yes. Does that make him unworthy of love? Of understanding? Did you feel unworthy in his shoes? Of course not. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying... I understand why he did it. And I get that it wasn't technically his fault, and I wasn't harmed, really, at least financially or physically. And he was doing it out of love. At least he thought he did. But it's still wrong. Good. Excellent. I'm not sure if you recognize this, but you described the crime in vastly different terms than you did in your intake interview. Oh. Yeah. It's weird. I feel almost... yeah, biased, you know? It's like he's my cousin, and I hate that he did it, but more for his sake than the sake of the victim, you know? And the sake of his daughter, obviously. And how does that make you feel? Well, good, I guess. I feel like less of a victim. I kind of feel... oh, I don't want to say it. Say it. It's okay. Oh, okay, I feel benevolent. Like I'm a good person for being so understanding. How cringe is that? Not at all. It's normal. You've taken a big step today, and it's completely understandable to be proud of yourself for it. Now, hopefully, in time, you can take this perspective and use it to be more compassionate towards everyone, even those who wrong you. Especially those who wrong you. I still don't forgive him, though. That's okay. Perhaps in time you will. For now, though, it seems that this experience has changed your outlook of the situation for the better. Would you agree? Yeah, I would. Excellent. Remember, this is a process. You may find your feelings come in waves, and that's okay. Try to hold on to this understanding and hold it towards everyone. You think you can do that? I'll sure try. Thank you. You're very welcome. I think this would be a good time to end this session. Would you like to book another one to discuss any thoughts or feelings which may arise? Do I have to live his life again? No, company policy is one per client. It can be rather addictive and prone to abuse. Yeah, I can see that. At least for the more pleasant lives. Yes, we lost too many good people to the Hefner experience. I can imagine. Plus, I'm sure some memories are super traumatic. Yes, but we prune out the more dangerous memories before merging the experiences. Don't want to be giving our clients new traumas. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about that when I signed up. Same time next week, please. Your appointment has been booked. Thank you for choosing Vitasim Therapeutics. Please review your experience today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 5 stars down the board. Thanks again. You're welcome again. Goodbye.
Yeah!